Hi everyone. Today I will be talking about my art portfolio that I submitted to the colleges that I applied to in the last college decision season, and I'm doing this as a non-art major. I did apply to my schools as an applied math or econ major, so definitely not in art, and I was just submitting it as a boost to my extracurriculars. I submitted portfolios to Harvard, Stanford, MIT, Brown, and Penn. I was accepted by Harvard and then rejected by all the rest. But then, of course, as a non-art major, it does depend a lot more on the rest of your application. But I'm showing you that it doesn't hurt to submit one if you put good work into it, especially as a non-art major. So my portfolio type was the drawing 2D or visual art portfolio. And I submitted 11 pieces of work, all colored pencil and ink, pretty similar style. I drew all of these in 2020 and 2021. I have not taken AP Studio Art. I have taken Drawing 1 in high school, which I took in my junior year, which is what started me to make this portfolio. So about half of the pieces are from that class. And then the other half are ones that I did before the application was due. I will say that not being a big time artist, I don't have as much knowledge on portfolios, submitting art, or pursuing art in college. Going to your art teacher at school or other friends who've done the same route can be a great resource. I want to say thank you to my Drawing 1 teacher in junior year who helped me take pictures of my work for me when I asked, and also for writing my rec letter. But here I can give some general tips for art portfolios would be to take good pictures of your work, emphasize quality over quantity, make sure your submissions are showing your skill level. It's better than several pieces that are almost unfinished. Definitely use the space called additional info to write your statements. You get 1,000 characters, and that's a lot of words to express your thoughts. And also make sure that your works are very complete, don't submit sketches or anything like that. Make sure they're your best work. I would also recommend that if you're making one, that you also show it to your interviewers. It can be a fun way to talk about it at the end and talk about something different in the conversation. Also going to shout out my Instagram. I currently doodle a lot more smaller pieces for fun, but recently I do take song requests and draw to small characters and small scenes on note cards. So I will be showing my works through Slideroom, which is what you use to submit your work to college. I didn't have my Slideroom for Harvard bookmark, so I'll just go through my Brown one. You can see my statements are pulled up on the left, and I'm just gonna ramble, but you can look at these and let me know in the comments any questions. My tips for statements, by the way, would be to balance your thought and meaning behind the piece with also your techniques and details that resulted from that. So that way, that's how I managed to fill the 1,000 character space, and then also put some meaning to my work. Anyways, I'm not experienced, but I'm just showing you what I did in mine. I remember I did this piece right after the one I just showed, and by the way, these aren't in chronological order. I just have them from my files. I did some during Drawing 1, but then the other half during college apps, just because I didn't like my old work and I didn't have a lot of good projects I could show. I would recommend actually having a running portfolio in high school that you can show to people when they ask about your work. I actually wish I had one, and I think it becomes really helpful. I had mine on Google Drive, but it's something good to have. This piece is another one that I drew before the deadline. If anyone's interested, I became inspired for my art style through webcomic scenes. I do read a lot of webtoons, and used to draw a lot of realistic nature when I was younger, but it shifted to this current style, and my art teacher called it more of a surrealism, I guess. I like using a lot of colors and have been working on my art to shade darker. Personally, I like the way like saturated colors look in art a lot, so I try to incorporate that. This is finally a piece that I did in class. The first three I did fall of 2021. I drew this piece for a song assignment during class, and I remember doing it literally like the night before it was due. It was a multi-week project, but I did it like in an hour or two. Shout out to Jay Cho, whose song I chose, Maple Leaf. In general, my works do take me about more than 3 hours though. Some of the pieces I worked on over days and like sometimes weeks. I'd say it's like an hour to sketch and come up with the idea, and then I finalize anatomy and complicated figures while using references before outlining in ink, which takes like a little less time. After that, I figure out like colors, and then I put down the base coloring with colored pencil, which takes like an hour. Then shading can take anywhere from like 1 to 5 hours depending on the piece and like how big it is. Some of these pieces that are like this big like take me a long time to shade, but like if it's just a printer sheet of paper, then it would be quicker. This piece is actually the first piece in the portfolio. It was for a maths project that I did in class, and I liked it a fair amount. It's also the first time I used colored pencils in like a year, because I had been doodling on digital. I use my phone, by the way, IBIS Paint. I would recommend. But I do like traditional art much more, and I have not gone back to digital art in a while. You can tell some of the recurring themes in my work, and I recommend you to have themes in your work and statements. Art, introspection, self-development, and the perception of time. I didn't force myself to come up with any like themes that I thought would look good to the admissions office or art department. You might want to do that if you're serious in art, but for me this just felt more genuine. This is another assignment. I rushed this before the deadline. It was not a full project, but I did it as like a weekly sketch for class. We had like weekly homework. I also like the colors in this one just because I like pink and very like warm tones. Here's another piece I did in class. I would encourage students to draw for issues they feel very like strongly about. I remember my art teacher encouraged us to do that and would have projects that pushed us to illustrate for important social issues in class. This was one of those pieces. I would also recommend that like you guys should definitely take drawing classes in high school. I was kind of on the fence because I wasn't sure how much time it was going to take. I wanted to take other courses, but it ended up being a pretty fun experience. And if your teacher is a very like open personality, it can be a very flexible way to develop your skills while also exploring your style through new methods. This was another assignment, and originally I found it a very interesting project because it's very different than what we used to do. And we had to watch videos to actually like draw it out, but I did have fun doing it. And again, was able to put my own style. Finally, this is the last piece that I drew on my own before submitting my slide room submission to my schools. I challenged myself to use a lot of black in this piece, and I think it turned out all right, although I still have room for improvement, especially shading with darker colors. I do have 2 more pieces. I will be omitting the statements for these 2, which I drew during class for projects, and also one of them I submitted to a competition and was selected. I spent weeks on that piece alone, but I will be omitting these 2 pieces because they involve talk about eating disorders. You can email me for the statements individually if you're interested, but I'm not comfortable talking about the topic openly, and I know for others it might be a sensitive topic. So I will just show the pieces themselves. Hope you understand. Anyways, hope this helped you get an idea of like someone with very like side hobby experience, not like full-time drawing. And then also like what a non-art major submitted for colleges. I would say good luck if you're working on a portfolio, and again, feel free to ask me like more questions about art and then statements. I'd be happy to like answer any of them. But yeah, hope to see you again. Senior vlogs are coming. I might make 3, one for senior year, one for like the last week of school, and then one for graduation and grad night. Bye guys.